Hello, good people. It is your brother Jerry Flowers, and we need to have a conversation. Let's do a webisode around this topic: faith requires a risk. So there's this constant question that I keep getting in my DMs, my text messages, my emails, notifications, comments, and it always starts like this: Jay, how did you know? How do you know? How did you know? How do you know? What if this? What if that? What if? How do you? What if? How did? Just tell me. How do I know? How did you know? And indeed, that's a legitimate question. But the problem is, sometimes you won't. Sometimes you won't know. Like, you could have $1 million book in you, but you'll never know if you don't write it. You'll never know if you don't publish it. You'll never know if you don't get the editor. You could have a song that's gonna be #1 on iTunes, but you'll never know if you don't record it. You'll never know if you don't write the lyrics. You'll never know if you don't get it mixed and mastered. There's so many things on the inside of you that you'll never know is there if you don't take the risk. If somebody had a suitcase and they said, hey, if you upload this video, I'm gonna give you $100,000. I think everybody watching this video, you would do it because it's guaranteed. God says your gifts will make room for you. There's something on the inside of you, there's some gift, there's some idea that God has cosmically created for you to release in the earth, and you'll never know what it could fully do if you don't take the risk. You'll never know the results if you don't learn how to silence that inner critic that keeps telling you nobody's gonna read this, nobody's gonna listen to this, nobody's gonna watch this. If you don't learn, just because the inner critic is speaking, that doesn't mean you have to listen to it. Taking that risk causes you to unsubscribe from the channel of your own negativity. And I'm trying to convince somebody watching this video, it's better for you to stand in the discomfort of taking a risk than for you to die in the cemetery of familiarity. Your familiar place is the graveyard to your faith. And a lot of people don't even recognize comfort has become your drug. Comfort has become your drug and you're addicted to it. At the end of your life, nobody will remember you by how safe you played it, but you'll be remembered by how you changed the world, your community, and even your bloodline by the risk that you took. And I can't help but notice that in scripture, there seems to be a marriage between radicals and miracles. The more radical the individual was, the bigger the miracle was. The woman with the issue of blood had to get radical. Blind Bartimaeus had to get radical. The more radical you are, the bigger the miracle. No risk, no miracle. No miracle, no risk. Because sometimes God asks you to do some crazy stuff. And the reason it's crazy is because it doesn't make logical sense. For example, I believe this is what faith looks like. God tells you to do something crazy, like stick this pencil through this bag. What do you think is gonna happen? You watching this, you think it's gonna pop, right? And so many of us, because we feared the outcome, we never take the risk. We think if I follow God, it's gonna cost me my money, it's gonna cost me my resources. But I'm seeing, if I take the risk, wow, it didn't cost me to lose my career. It didn't cost for me to lose my mind. So then once I take one risk, then you know what? I'm gonna take a bigger risk. I'm gonna take a greater risk. I'm gonna take a greater risk. I'm gonna trust God in the extreme. I'm gonna trust God and start this ministry. I'm gonna trust God and I'm gonna start this vlog. I'm gonna trust God and I'm gonna start this blog. And you'll see that if you take the risk, the very thing that didn't make sense in the beginning, look, it actually worked. I didn't lose my mind. I didn't lose my house. I didn't lose all my money because I took the risk. And the reason a lot of us, we aren't seeing the results is because we don't see it through. And when we don't see it through, look what happens. You end up losing your joy. You end up losing your commitments. You end up losing your passion. But the good thing about God is if you're like, okay, I missed it. I missed it. Let me get my faith back in order. Let me get my faith back in order. The very place that you started, God's like, okay, as long as you trust me, I'm gonna let you keep your joy. I'm gonna let you keep your passion. I'm gonna let you keep your commitment, but it is followed by you taking a risk. What risk have you not taken because you fear of losing everything? And I just want to show you this, that sometimes God will have you do something crazy so that you can see he's gonna give you a crazy miracle. Redefined TV, where redefine relationships righteously.